Hello guys, my name is Tegan and today I want to show you our kitchen. I'm not totally sure why I'm doing this video, although I do like watching other people's kitchen tours and how other people organise their kitchens. It's also kind of an inventory for me to see how many things we really have and perhaps find some things that we can really do without. So this is what the kitchen looks like. Believe it or not, it's one of the brightest rooms in the house, which I love. I'll start with the pantry. We didn't have a pantry at our last place, so this was a welcomed addition. It's quite shallow, but that means everything is really well accessible. I recently moved the notice board with the calendar to the inside of the door. I found it was just stressing me out looking at the date and all of my shifts all the time. It looks a little tidier this way too. On the top shelf we have recipe books, which we never ever use. There's some spare spice jars, I'll show you where the actual spices are kept soon, and then a whole lot of pre-made spices that we get when we're in Pakistan because it's a lot cheaper. Next shelf, the legumes. These containers are from IKEA and I love them because they're clear, but I wish I'd gotten just all big ones instead of the small ones as well. Honestly, I probably wouldn't pay what I did again anyway. I've got a few of these handy little shelves around the kitchen. They're from IKEA too. This one has random cooking thingies, gravy, jelly, baking soda, extra spices as well. Then all the different flours. I much prefer the tall containers instead of these big jars. They're a bit too bulky for these shallow shelves. The middle shelf is the most easily accessible, and so I put our most used items here. I eat a lot of pasta, and there's a few other bits and pieces here as well. Rice paper sheets, papadums, noodles. Then we have brown rice, white rice and brown sugar. I keep a spoon in the sugar so it's easy to scoop out. Then we have some big plastic tubs with potatoes and onions. We keep fresh garlic in here as well when we have it. Then the ready-to-use sauces and oils. I keep them all in this plastic tub so they don't spill on the shelf. The next shelf down, we have some breakfast stuff in the corner. I've got some wraps at the moment, Adi's favourite muesli, spreads in a tub to stop them spilling and to keep them nice and neat. Oats, tortilla strips are on special at Aldi. I use these to make nachos. And Celine has her own tub with all her food, worming, flea, hairball treatments, etc. We also keep the juicer here because it fits perfectly. The bottom shelf has extras and bulk items, bags of rice, potatoes, oil, vinegar, long life milks. Then on this rack that I got from the reject shop, I usually put canned goods and extra sauces. The first cupboard is the crockery cupboard. I keep our placemats here as well. This rack was from the reject shop too. I wanted to have all of our crockery on the same shelf basically. I think we have way too much, but I'm not really sure what to get rid of. My dad collected mostly everything for us at garage sales and it's been very handy. This has a chip though, I think I'm going to chuck this one out. The first drawer is for cutlery, of course, and also a few other useful and smaller items like peelers and a bottle opener, cheese knife. This spoon shouldn't be here. We have way too many chopsticks. We hardly ever use them, and ID hasn't quite got the hang of it anyway. I really think the plain wooden ones look nice. They were quite cheap. But I think we should keep these lovely ones with the mother of pearl. We were actually given them as a gift and they are quite sentimental. It's also ridiculous that I have these chopstick stands. Should I really keep these? I'm not sure. Oh, and at the back of the drawer I also have the sewing needles and thread. This little box was made by my late grandfather and it actually helps to keep the cutlery holder in place. So the second drawer has the cooking utensils, and also in this smaller container the smaller utensils and serving spoons. The third drawer has tea towels. Is this too many? I don't think we use them all. It's also where we keep our reusable cloths, which are all about to go in the wash at the moment. We keep our foil, baking paper and wrap here as well. The bottom drawer is a mess. I've got shopping bags, again probably way too many. The rolling pin is here because it doesn't fit anywhere else, and some straws I bought years ago that we're slowly using up. I don't know what I was thinking. On the windowsill we have an orchid and an ornament of a cow being milked that we bought in Pakistan. I put this little mother of pearl bowl here so I can have somewhere to put my rings when I take them off to do the dishes. It's very, very useful. I like to keep the cleaning stuff out of the cupboards for easy access. What's the point of keeping it all hidden if I'm using it all the time? Same as before too, it stops everything spilling. Then I have some herbs which I'm about to replant, to be honest. I've now got some basil, mint and coriander growing here. Under the sink is always a bit of a pigsty, but I am trying. I do keep any plastic bags I come across to reuse for the bathroom bin and also the cat's kitty litter. A few random household items in this tub, spare dishwashing liquid, cloths, sponges and garbage bags. In the corner we have our bread bin, which was actually left here when we moved in, and we keep our spices in here. It keeps the mess hidden, but they're also handy here right on the bench. We keep most of them in old curry paste jars and we print the labels on the lid. This big cupboard is mostly plastics. There's a serving tray which I barely use, some spare lids from tubs that I'm already using in places like the fridge, the dehydrator which I don't use nearly as often as I want to. Plastic containers I find store best if I stack and keep the lids attached. Bowls, well, they go inside each other. There's jugs, drink bottles and the grater down here, ceramic bakeware, then small containers and these hanging shelves from IKEA. I just throw everything in and nothing gets lost. It's great. In the other one I have jar lids and other small plastics. Down here we're collecting jars for our neighbour who's going to preserve his tomatoes. Then we have the serving crockery nested on this massive tray so I can just slide it in and out. We keep our knives on the prep bench. Then in this corner cupboard we keep mostly oven and stove cookware. So we have the pots nested, the fry pans stacked. I don't know why we have so many, but Adi does actually use them all. The roasting pans and tins are nested too. The pressure cooker, which Adi uses a lot. The strainers and colanders are nested too. Oven trays and a drying rack. The dumpling steamer thingies, I'm not sure if we need both of these. 3 big pots we rarely use. And then we have some pot stands to stop from marking the table. Then this lid stand contraption thing from IKEA, which works just okay. Above the stove in the corner cupboard I have tea and coffee things. We don't drink many hot drinks, in fact Adi doesn't at all. But our family members do and I like to have it all in the one spot. I think we have way too many mugs, but one is a set that I love and the others were all gifts, so This is my dad's percolator. He likes to make a coffee sometimes when he stays. Up the top there is a cutlery set that was given as a gift. I've also got some inherited cutlery. Basically we have way too many knives and forks. The next cupboard is actually where I store the tea and some extra coffee. My grandfather made me this egg cup. And this gorgeous wine glass. No, we don't drink. It was an 18th gift from my next door neighbour. I absolutely love it, but it was broken in a move, so I think I finally need to part with it. Our yogurt jars are in here too, along with our drinking glasses, but I've just replaced the glasses with a brand new set from Savers. This oddly shaped cupboard has our yogurt incubator, which we don't really use anymore as the oven is an appropriate temperature. It's also where we put the chopping boards that we use daily and some plastic fancy glasses. Above the microwave I have our toaster in its own container to stop the crumbs. My mother always did this. Our blender and kettle here usually lives on the bench above the crockery, but Adi was in the middle of repairing it at the time of filming. We keep our microwave pushed all the way to the side so we can easily switch it off at the wall when we're not using it. Below the oven we have incense and lighting, so candles and torches, most of which probably don't work. I need to go through them actually. This is the fridge, which nowadays I like to keep fairly free of magnets and clutter, at least on the front. I do keep this card which my mother gave us just before we got married. It says, "The heart has no fences, follow where it leads you." On the top we have our house file and a Lazy Susan with daily vitamins and with stationery in this bowl, which again my grandfather made. In this rhinoceros bowl that my dad found for us at a garage sale we have rubber bands, which are always very handy. The cupboard above all of this is basically the household junk cupboard, but I swear it's somewhat contained into like containers. I do keep the old calendar for the first few months of the next year, so that's why that's there. There's a whole lot of different things in these containers, all useful. I know where everything is. For example, we've got some paper clips, those stick-on hooks here, and then we have seeds for the garden, heaps and heaps of seeds. Our soil is really hard and tough, so that's why I haven't used them all. Vitamins and other health thingies. Yes, bit of a mess in there. This little gadget is telling us how our solar is performing, so I know whether or not I should use the washing machine or something like that. And I've got the bins here, overflowing, and this is where the cat eats. And that was our kitchen. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time, but please leave a comment if you want to.